Hello, people. This is number 6 in our strategy practice for the IELTS speaking test. Today's tip, I want to talk about vocabulary. It's very important that the vocabulary that you use in the IELTS speaking is the vocabulary that you're very much aware of how to use. Don't go memorizing super complex vocabulary. It's not needed. It's not needed. You want to be able to talk and use the vocabulary you have and use it effectively. That's number 1. Number 2 is if you want a band 7 or higher, then yes, you've got to use something a little bit more complex. For instance, maybe an idiom or a proverb or a metaphor, or something just a little bit more complex to show that you do have a good sounding of the English language. So with that being said, let's move on and look at what the test card we've got today and see how we're going to handle that. Today's card says, describe a memorable meal you have had. You should say where you had it, what you ate, who you were with, and why it was memorable. Well, the main thing is it's meals that were memorable. So let's just quickly review our 3 strategies. The past, present, and future. Well, if it's memorable, it's something that's happened in the past, so there's no future. So let's discard the past, present, and future, because there is no future in that one. 2 meals. Is there 2 meals that we can talk about? Yeah, that should be relatively easy to do, to think back about the 2 meals. And what about the 3rd strategy, the pros and cons? Well, I don't think it comes into that either, actually, because it's a memorable meal. It's something that you're very happy to remember. So pros and cons. So we're down to the 2 answers. Again, we need to choose 2 meals, one big one and another one. Now, when we say memorable meals, it doesn't have to be a banquet or anything special, but it could be just a special occasion, like somebody's birthday party or somebody going to the last time you see them before they move to another area or something like that. And also you could have a wedding or whatever. So it should be fairly easy to think about 2 meals that you've had and be able to list and talk about what they were all about. Now then, let's just move on here. So what have they used here? They've used what, where, why, and who, and they've not used when and how. So there's 2 other areas that we're going to use to build it out. What, where, why, who, when, and how. That should be pretty straightforward, and if you're practicing these, like I hope you are, then you'll be getting used to these and being able to build it out. Strangely enough, I was watching a teacher this morning on YouTube who had people taking notes to answer the 2nd part of the IELTS speaking. These people have no idea that how long a minute lasts when you're in an exam situation, when you're in a test situation. It goes very, very quickly. And that's why my students have been very successful, because we know what we're going to do before we even go in there. You don't have to think about how you're going to add sentences or whatever. You just put down what you're going to do, and that's what you do. And you use your vocabulary and your fluency to answer the question. Good. Now let's just take a quick look at my notes here. The strategy we're going to use is the 2 answers, and my answers are going to be about a meal I had at my brother's wedding, and the other answer will be a meal that I had at Hong Kong after leaving there, when I was leaving there after quite a long project, and they took me out to dinner and it was pretty phenomenal. It was a pretty phenomenal meal. So that's my two answers that I'm going to dwell on. And here we have our 6 tools that we want to use for getting and giving information. So let's get on with that. And think about what you're going to say, practice it, record yourself, listen to yourself, try to improve it. All good stuff.
One of the most unforgettable dining experiences I cherish was at my brother's wedding, a gathering that showcased our tight-knit family's penchant for pranks and humor. His winter wedding unfolded in the chilly embrace of a North Scottish landscape, adorned with sporadic snow showers. The ceremony took place at a quaint church, followed by a luxurious reception at a grand parkside hotel. As we posed for photographs outside the hotel, the cold had everyone feigning cheerfulness despite shivers. Stepping into the hotel, the warm ambience thawed the chill from my bones, sparking an idea. Engaging the manager, I hatched a mischievous plan to bring a touch of jest to the occasion. Amidst welcome drinks, the party transitioned into the dining hall, erupting in applause as the newlyweds entered. Seated and ready, the culinary experience began with steaming bowls of soup, a perfect antidote to the cold. Observing my brother's reaction, I noticed his soup was icy cold, in stark contrast to the guests who blew on their piping hot servings. With an amused expression, he caught on to the prank and acknowledged my involvement. Another noteworthy culinary memory etched in my mind originated from a Hong Kong eatery. This meal held a special place as a farewell celebration after successfully completing a lengthy project. A connoisseur of Cantonese cuisine and seafood aficionado, I was treated to a remarkable dinner. Before the feast commenced, the chef unveiled an enormous lobster, a majestic creature flown all the way from Australia. This extravagant gesture left me feeling deeply honored, making the evening an extraordinary affair that I shall always treasure.
Well, there we are, folks. Another one under the belt. How are you doing anyway? Is it coming? Are you getting used to these strategies? Can you make them work? Let me know, please, in the comments. It would really encourage me to know if you're finding them useful or not. It's a lot of work daily, and I hope it's benefiting people around the world. That's one other thing, please. Let me know where you are, who you are, and where you are in the world. That really intrigues me to know where I'm getting students from. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.